Yo, how you guys doing today? Um, Webtoon King. It's been a while since I've done a video, but I'm coming back. I'm gonna start doing some webtoons, but I'm gonna start off with a manga. Yeah, when this manga first got introduced, a lot of people were hyping it up. This might be the first manga I ever seen where people hyped it up before a first chapter came out. So the name of the manga is named Kagura Bachi. I'm talking about the first chapter. It's going to be a kind of a little bit longer video than usual. Got 57 pages. Alright, so first we're going to talk about the color page. The color page, the first one, is about them forging, I'm assuming a sword or something. I like that first cover page. The second cover page is just translation with the sun cutting up a bunch of gang members, which is going to come back in handy a little bit afterwards. So we're going to see where this scene comes from. Chapter 1. We see the son and the father working on something. We don't know what it is, but I'm assuming it's just a sword, like I was saying at the beginning. That's where the first color page came from, I'm assuming. I like this because it shows that the son learned already how to make swords or whatever they're doing from him. So eventually, I have a theory later down the line where I say at the end, you guys gonna see where my theory is coming from about this sword thing with the son. Next page we see is for the father looking at the fishes. Talking about how he talks to the son is kind of like thinking it's not normal for the dad to be talking to fishes, and we see like an inner thought of what he thinks what they're saying, and it's like the fish are saying learning, and the father's like yeah, and the fish are saying more than anything, and the father's like yeah. So I'll say this. While this might be a gag, but I take it a little bit more serious. I think the fishes are actually like, because this is a war with sorcery. So I think these are special fishes where they're actually talking, and then eventually I think later down the line the main character is going to be able to talk to them. We go back to them working a little more, and the main character just thinks about the day the dad brought back the fish. Well, I do find it interesting, and I have another theory at the end, but I'm going to speak a little bit more towards the end. They talked about the difference in the fishes. So the father mentioned the red one attract good luck, the black one warns off evil, and the third one apparently is just amazing. That's what he says about it. So once we get at the end, I'm explaining what my theory is about this sword thing, fish thing. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. Now they go back to working a little bit on the sword, and then they got a visitor named Sheba came and visit the family. What we do know is he's an old friend of the father. He's always telling the son how the father was a hero. He might be the reason why they ended the war. Now, I think that's going to become important later down the line, that his epic swords are one of the reasons why the war ended. So, and that's another thing I think ties in with the fishes, where I'm going to talk about a little more down the line. Why the dad got the fish? It might be tied in with why his swords are what ended the war and how he got the fish. I got a little theory on that. While the son do have a face like he's kind of annoyed that they're always talking about this. He said, yeah, I heard it 100 times that he saved people. But at the same time, I got the feeling, and you can kind of see it a little bit on his face, that he's still proud, because throughout this chapter, you see that he's serious about becoming a swordsmith. He respects his father, and he wants to be like his father. Even though Sheba got mentioned that he's a hard worker, that he's going to end up like the old man. and that's probably going to tie it into my theory at the end. When Sheba leave, you see that the dad's kind of like sad about something, thinking about something, and he kind of mentioned you're going to be 15 soon, right? He kind of questioned him about it being a swordsmith, and the son stares at him. He's like, I'm serious about this, right? This is what I mean about the respect between him and his father. And then the father's like, kind of didn't want to, kind of was thinking about it. It might have something to do with his past that he doesn't want to show him. I'm assuming the steps that he's about to show him, quote unquote, what we didn't see. Like, there's going to be a time skip in this chapter, so there might be something that, because he said it's not going to be flashy, which I don't get it. I think he shows his son how to make sorcery swords. I don't get how that's not going to be flashy, but he does mention something later down. He goes to Katana, which I think that's one of the katanas the main character have at the end. He talks about how Katana saves lives and also it can open a new era. But he also mentions this tool for killing people. He also mentioned how they make swords, is their responsibility to make sure they give it to the right people, and so they're not oppressing people, blah blah blah. Basically oppressing people, blah blah. And he asked his son, "Are you ready to take that on? Are you ready to carry the burden that?" Basically saying that if you give your sword to the wrong person, you can get people killed. Especially you think about sorcery and stuff, like magic and all that stuff. So if you give your sword to an evil person, they can hurt a lot of innocent people. The son responded like he don't know, which I like. He's very honest. He's like, I don't know, but he's ready to take on the responsibility. And his dad just said, okay. And basically, that's the last time we kind of see the dad, and we just see the back of the dad. So the next thing we see is the some Yakuza boss. Later on, we see he's the main villain for this chapter, at least. And we have a time skip for 38 months later. We just see people getting killed, and then we come to learn that they were just killing people, and they're trying to find information about a movement. I'm assuming it's a movement against the gangs, Yakuza gangs, whoever they are, in the city. There's one guy that have tied up, and he mentioned how that this city used to be peaceful until they came over, blah blah blah, and he didn't want to back down. He said. So one of the main villains like, who's backing us? The guy on the floor is like, yeah, I know a sorcerer. And one of the sorcerers kind of got intrigued, and you just see Route spawning from the floor, grabbing the guy that just got hit in the face. And the sorcerer basically come down and say, I think Beverly's often rooted in ignorance. I can't say that word. And he basically asked the guy they were beating up, have you seen a sorcerer before, basically? And you just see a bunch, I don't know if that's a tree or bonsai, wherever. I'm assuming a tree. And the sorcerer looked at him again and said, I asked you a question. And the guy, he basically said, yes, this is my first time seeing a sorcerer. And the sorcerer looks at the Yakuza and said, we don't care how you do your business, as long as you pay, basically. Then the sorcerer kind of leaves, and that's it. Basically, for the most part, that's the whole event. Wow, this sorcerer kind of looks cool, but I don't think he's the main villain. He's going to be like I think he's going to be the first opening fight to sorcery against sorcery, like him against the main character, basically. Now we move on to the main character in the train with Sheba. This is the first time we see him, and it looks like he has a big ass scar on his face. So while him and Sheba are in the train, Sheba asks him, the scar, you can remove it. It really stands out. Why don't you do something about it? That's basically what he said. So the whole point, the main character don't want to heal it, is because he wants to remember every day his hatred for what happened. And what I'm assuming is that his dad kind of died or something. So he don't want to forget that, and he want to keep his hatred strong like the Uchihas. The next thing we see is them walking through the city, and then they see a bunch of people hang up. I guess is an example to people who go against the gangs. And you just see the main character mad, grabbing onto his sword, and he asks Sheba, if you want to... No, basically you have people in the background. If you want to survive in the city, you must submit. And the main character is just mad, asking where the base is. You see a bunch of... the next scene we go to, we see a bunch of Yukaza. I keep calling them Yukaza gang members. Talking about how nobody be stupid enough to come here. And then you just see a sword coming through, killing one of them. And then you see Sheba just in the background pointing somewhere saying, okay, I'll take these guys. And you just see the main character jump in the middle, cool as fuck, saying sorry to interrupt your conversation. And you just see him do a 360, killing like four. Well, no, not four. One of the guys already dead. Three of the guys at the same time. Now you see the main villain for this chapter on another base, I guess. Still trying to get information out of guy earlier. I don't think we got a name for him. And the guy was still holding strong until they mentioned that he might have a kid sister. That's when he broke. And while some of the gang members are leaving, you just see the main character cut one of the gang members' hands, and it just you just see in the sky. And I think this is where the second color page comes from. And you just get a dope ass picture of the main character, darkness, and just his eyes. And the main villain was like, "Who are you?" Basically, and basically he said, "I can't allow slumps like you to wield katana." So basically, taking to heart what his father said earlier in the chapter, where only people just need to wield katana. Basically, that's what the father was telling him. And you gotta take responsibility. So you can see he took that lesson on strong. And you just see a bunch of people running towards him, a bunch of gang members running towards him, and then you see the main character use a move called Ente. So I'm assuming Ente is the move. That's what you have to say to use sorcery, some kind of sorcery, at least his sorcery. You just see the two fishes you saw. I think those are definitely the fishes that the main character father had. And we learned this is when the Shiba mentioned that the father, this is when we have a hint that the dad might be dead. He said the katana boy's will was the father's last katana, the one he gave his life to make. And then he mentioned black, which is interesting. So if you remember black, at the beginning, let me see. At the beginning it mentioned that black was of evil. And you see the black fish going around him. And then once he call out black, it looks like an area effect move where he can just launch like a black ink. I don't know if it's ink because it's manga panels. And he just slashes people in half. And then he jumps off, slash another man's hands off. And then he slashed to the ground and you just see black. I don't know if it's black or whatever. And you just like it's an area effect. And then when he said Nishiki, you see the special the one with 3 different colors or whatever, the one that they said was special, that was supposed to be amazing. We don't see what Nishiki does, the move Nishiki does, but that's my theory, that each fish has a special ability to it, and we're gonna figure out what it is later. We only know what the black one does a little bit. It looks like an area effect where you could throw it and it kills people. But we probably going to get more information later on. Then we see Shiba entering the room where the main character was. Just a bunch of people, dead bodies. And then the main character goes up to the Yukaza boss, or whatever his name. And the main villain group is called the Hishakuro. I'm sorry, I'm not good with names, especially Japanese name. Hishakuro, the group of sorcerers backing him. So the main character basically say, if you want to play dumb, that's fine. I'm sure that your man are already waiting for you in hell. So he's basically a cool main character. I like that, to be honest. I kind of that was one of my main problems recently. All these nice ass main characters. That's why I even venture out to reading stuff like Vagabond, Berserk, Vinland Saga. I know eventually Thorfinn end up doing that too, but what I'm saying is this might be one of the first main characters I've seen be cold harder. Obviously, he's gonna have an arc where he's gonna calm down, but I like this. And the chapter ends with him, the boss basically saying, if you want to pick the fight with a monster like that, you're insane. And the main character basically say, do I seem sane to you? I don't care, they're monsters. I have to cut them down. And then you have a cool ass paper. I say paper. I mean art of the main character. Now, I heard rumors that the main character was inspired by Zoro, and I kind of see that a little bit. When he at first activate Entei, and you see the fish, the paws, the way he uses sword sometimes, I can see it. Now, one of my other, like I said, one of my theories was about the fishes. Their abilities obviously have something to do with what the father said at the beginning. That was one of my theories. Let me see through my notes. I got notes out here. Yeah, that was one of my main theories. Once I think about the other one, I'll probably make a video on all my theories and stuff. So that's it so far. It's been a while since I'm back. I'm gonna start doing some webtoon videos. I'm trying to find what webtoons I want to do videos on. I was gonna wait for the creator of Hardcore 11 to come back. He's doing like an ad webtoon right now for a game, which is interesting. A webtoon that's advertising the game right now. That's kind of interesting. Depending how long it is, I'm gonna give it 5 chapters to see if that's actually like a series, not just like a advertising. Because I know he said he was gonna come back with another webtoon. I want to wait for that one to start uploading his video. I'm gonna start doing some webtoons, theories, top 10, strongest, all that stuff. All right, thank you for watching the video. It's been a while. I'll start keeping up with my videos. Thank you.